Should you niche down on OnlyFans or not? It's one of the most debated topics in the creator space, and honestly, most advice out there only tells you half the story. Stay with me because I'm going to break down both paths, and by the end, you're going to know which one's going to be the right fit for you. I run a talent management agency, and I work with creators across pretty much every level and across every type of content. And what I've learned is there's no one size fits all for OnlyFans. What there is there's two proven paths. One's niching down and the other's going generic, but doing it at a level that most creators simply don't. Both work, but work in different ways for different people. And the last thing we'll do is pick the wrong one that's not actually for you. Let's break it down. Let's start with niching, because when it's done right, it's genuinely so powerful. Here's how it works. OnlyFans is a crowded platform. There's millions of creators and hundreds of thousands of them are creating Instagram reels for promotion. If you're posting content with no identity behind it, you are technically invisible. You're just noise. But the second you become the fitness influencer, the gym influencer, or the tattooed alt girl, you've now created your own little market and segmented yourself from the huge crowd of people, so you're competing against less people. You're not competing against everyone anymore. You've got your own little portion of the market, and it makes it so much easier for the right audience to find you. When you're niching down, you're obviously going to want to pick a male-dominated niche because that's your target audience. And if you niche down well, you're going to have almost no competition with other OnlyFans creators. What you've got to remember when you're niching down is your job isn't to build an audience from scratch. It's to walk into a room that's already full and take it over. Niche down, find your male audience, and find stuff the male audience is already interested in. It makes it so much quicker. This next bit is very important, and that's not every niche is worth picking. Here's what separates a good one from a trap. A good niche has two things. High barrier to entry, which essentially just means it can't be copied overnight. So stuff like equestrian, martial arts, tattoos. These take real time to authentically own. Second is a male-dominated audience, which is already established and there's interest already there. Both of these things are true and you actually enjoy living that lifestyle, then it's a massive green light. If you're forcing it and it doesn't really reflect your real life, no. If there's no male-dominated audience and it's all female, no. And if anyone could just replicate it next week, that's also a no. That's an example of a bad niche. A bad niche is worse than no niche. Here's what I want to be honest with you, because a lot of creators hear the word niche and feel immediately stuck. Maybe there's nothing obvious in your life, or you just don't want to do something you're not actually interested in and enjoy. And if that's you, honestly, good, because you should never force a niche. If you're not enjoying doing something, it just adds so much more friction to actually go out there and film the content and get it done. Forcing a niche is one of the worst things you could do, and there is another way, and it works just as well. About 70% of the creators I work with aren't actually niched at all. They're not fitness girls, they're not gamer girls, they're just essentially just themselves, but they're growing consistently. Here's how. When you go generic, the game changes completely. You're winning on quality, consistency, and personality, which is the main thing. The bar for quality is a lot higher than what creators actually expect. This means your Instagram content has to be genuinely compelling to actually carry the video. Video has to stop thumbs on its own merit. So that is done through good lighting, good editing, and actual overall energy that people can connect to. You need to build a personality which people can connect to without no actual shade interest. The thing just has to be so much sharper because you don't have a niche doing the hard work for you. But when you get it right, it can work so much better because you're not actually locked into a specific market. Once you go influencer level, you've just got so many more eyes that you can convert over. In a sense, it's way more sustainable because you're just not locked into that same theme. So how do you actually decide what the right path is for you? Because that's the real question here. So I've got 3 questions which will give you the answer pretty quickly. I'll pop these up on screen while I read them out so you can actually screenshot this and go fill it in your notes. Question 1, is this something in your real life that ticks the niche boxes? So think about your actual lifestyle, your hobbies, your look, your interest. Is there something that has a strong male audience around it that you genuinely love and that isn't easy for anyone to just copy? If yes, that's your niche, use it. If you're sitting there struggling to think of anything, that's your answer too. Don't force one. Move on to question 2. Question 2, are you willing to treat content like a skill you improve over time? The generic path is not easy. I really want to be clear about that. A lot of creators go generic because they think it's lower effort. No theme to maintain, just post whatever. And that's how it works. Going generic and winning means committing to the quality as your differentiator. It means you're watching your analytics, testing different content styles, building a real personality online. If you're willing to do that, that generic path is completely viable. Question 3, what are you actually going to enjoy doing long term? The one that matters more than people give it credit for. Because like we've talked about in previous videos, burnout is real in this industry. If you pick a niche you don't care about, you run out of content ideas within 3 months and the inauthenticity will show. If you go generic, but you have no personality, you want to share online, then that'll show too. Whatever path you pick, it needs to be one you can sustain, because consistency is what actually compounds over time. Your answer to those 3 questions will tell you which path is actually yours. Before I wrap up, I want to address the creators who are somewhere in the middle. If you kind of have a niche and you're not fully leaning into it, or you've got the generic route and your quality just isn't there, here's what I'd say to you. Pick a lane and stick to it. The biggest growth killer isn't the wrong strategy, it's half committing to a strategy. A creator who goes all in on a niche and executes it well is, well, obviously every day going to outcompete a creator who picks a niche and goes half-assed. You're going to outgrow that person every single time of the week. But both paths work. Niche works well when you tick all the boxes and you live that life authentically. Generic works when your content quality's there and your personality's there to actually carry your videos. Right, camera died, but figure out what is actually for you. Commit to it, execute it. They both work, so just pick whatever suits you best. But apart from that, if you want more content on how to grow as a creator, I post twice every single week without fail. So go check out my previous videos and subscribe to stay tuned for future uploads. If you've got any questions you want answered, drop them in the comments. I'll make a video about it. Or you can also DM me on Instagram. My @ is @DillMelish and it's down in the description. But apart from that, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.